Hello, I'm Tony Reddy of Reddy Architecture+Urbanism, and we are fortunate to have been chosen by Kilkenny Borough Council and Kilkenny County Council to work with them on the Urban Framework Plan and Masterplan for the former Diageo lands and the Bateman Quay site. The first thing that can be said about this opportunity is that the acquisition of the Diageo lands is a wonderful opportunity for Kilkenny to achieve aspirations which might otherwise not have come its way in such a significant way in such a short time. The two councils set out a very clear brief to us as consultants in terms of its objectives and aspirations for both Kilkenny and for the Diageo lands, which attempt to implement many of the objectives of the development plan and also some other objectives which only become apparent and achievable having acquired these lands. One of the things that should be said about Kilkenny is that historically the city has had a strong urban identity for a long time. I mentioned before that the Duke of Ormond brought back from exile in Paris to Ireland the principles of the Renaissance, and he gave to his the seat of his family home wonderful space such as the parade in Kilkenny. Perhaps his greatest achievement was to persuade the burghers of Dublin to turn the city to the river, the first city in these islands to actually do so, mimicking what had been achieved in Paris. He never did get to do that in his native Kilkenny, and I think one of the really wonderful opportunities about this project is that it gives us citizens in the 21st century the opportunity to address the city to its north side face. The other thing about Kilkenny is that it has had a strong identity with third level education. Many of you may not know that James II, 6 months before the Battle of the Boyne, actually gave a charter to the University of St. Canice for a third level institution to be established in Kilkenny. Most of us think of Kilkenny as being closer in character to an Oxford or Cambridge or to a Yale or Harvard, and I believe that the former Diageo site is a fitting location for a third level campus, and it's one of the objectives we'll be looking to implement here. The other interesting aspect to Kilkenny is that it has always had a strong international identity, and that has allowed it to punch above its weight compared to other similar sized towns and cities in Ireland. And it's not without reason that Kilkenny won the Academy of Urbanism's Great Town Award in 2008. The reason for that is that, notwithstanding the fact that there's a very tiny number of Irish voters, is that Kilkenny has that strong urban reputation, a strong reputation for quality in terms of its urbanism, and it's well capable of competing internationally. The other aspect to Kilkenny is that while it has missed out on the Industrial Revolution when trade moved down to the port of Waterford, that in a way has been a missed blessing, and the departure of its original traditional industry in brewing presents us with an opportunity in the 21st century to actually create a base for new, modern, creative industries in the heart of the city. And my own personal belief is that Kilkenny has shown its ability to attract mainly financial services companies over the past 10 to 15 years. It's done that because people identify Kilkenny as being a good place to live with all the attributes of a much bigger urban centre. The acquisition of the Diageo site presents Kilkenny with the opportunity to respond to the needs of modern knowledge economy. It puts Kilkenny in a unique position amid Irish cities and towns in that it has all of the attributes of a knowledge city, but now it has the opportunity to create a new quarter which becomes the image of the city. I believe that with this particular site at the heart of the city, there is the potential for us to attract to Kilkenny both international companies but also small indigenous creative companies that are part of the age in which we live. These are not metal bashing industries, these are not heavy producers. They're much more concerned with the intellect, with knowledge, and the people who work in these industries, the creative class, as Richard Florida, the great American sociologist, termed them. These people want to live in good urban quarters where they can meet with their peers, where they can live in close proximity to their work, and they can have all of the benefits of living in a city. One of the surprising things about the Diageo site is that such a large body of land could be hidden from the citizens of Kilkenny. I think one of the things we've uncovered as we've surveyed the site is that there are many surprises for the citizens when we open up this site. There's the old Friary building, which in fairness is visible from Parliament Street, but there are also other hidden surprises such as Evans Turret, which was one of the turrets on the city wall. There are remnants of the city wall along the Brega River. And I think one of the wonderful things about working on a master plan for this site is that we can think in terms of planning for making these hidden gems available to the citizens. The first strategy that we've come up with is in terms of movement and connectivity, and that deals with issues such as access for car, cyclists, pedestrians, creating linkages which disappeared many centuries ago via the slipways to the west of the site, and creating greater permeability to the site, which is something that right now it's missing. We believe that the overall strategy that we're evolving with the Borough and City Council, with the Borough and County Council, will help Kilkenny function better as a city, make it more accessible to visitors and to residents of the hinterland, and in general make it Kilkenny an easier place both to get into and to circulate about. The second strategy that we've adopted for Kilkenny is to do with conservation. As I've mentioned already, there are a number of protected structures on the site, and our plan for these lands is to allow both the excavation and examination of the national monument and the refurbishment and conservation of the protected structures, giving them a new use and meaning and a contribution to the city in the coming century. Our third strategy for the lands is in terms of sustainability. One of the unique things about this piece of urban land is that being on the riverside, we will be able to harness the energy of the river to minimise the energy demands via electricity and gas, etc. We're also hoping to take a number of other sustainability initiatives, and in general the aspiration will be to make Kilkenny via this site a model of sustainability both in Ireland and in Europe in terms of an urban regeneration project. In preparing the urban framework plan for the Diageo site in Bateman Quay, we identified a number of key objectives which had to be dealt with in any successful plan. These were firstly the creating of a continuous green link through the city, which had been an aspiration of successive development plans. The second area was the creation of a link between between John's Bridge and the Central Access Scheme. And thirdly, to create a series of new public spaces which enhanced the accessibility and environs of the protected structures on the site. A major feature of the plan is to create a riverside park along the River Nore from Bateman Quay to Evans Turret. This means that part of the original plan for the city as articulated in the development plan now comes to fruition, and cyclists and pedestrians will now be able to walk between the castle and Evans Turret and up to along the Brega River to St. Canice's Cathedral. And I think for the citizens of Kilkenny, for tourists, this is going to be a huge improvement in the city. We've also, within the scheme, added a number of new public spaces. At the heart of the quarter, we've created a space called Berkeley Square. We've also created a crescent called Ormond Crescent, and at the Abbey we've created a new public space. One of the lasting contributions of this urban framework plan is that it will give to Kilkenny a series of new public spaces and parks which will enhance the quality of life in the city, and I believe will make Kilkenny even better than it currently is. We're also creating on the riverside a series of mixed-use office, residential and cultural buildings which are aimed at both international foreign investment, knowledge, in particular knowledge industry companies. We believe that the area around the Abbey and along the Brega River is ideally suited to student residents, and we would hope that there will be a series of privately funded buildings here, bringing life to the city in the evening as well as by day, centred on the university. One other major feature of the urban design framework for the scheme is that there will be no underground car parking on the site, but there will be two screened car parking areas which are aimed both to service the immediate new development on the site, but also to enhance accessibility to the city in general, so that the high street is under less pressure to cope with car traffic. Overall, the urban framework plan for the Diageo and Bateman Quay sites is to create a mixed-use quarter consisting of educational, cultural, workplace, residential, retail and other uses, which will contribute to enhancing the life of the city of Kilkenny and making it a more vibrant place to live and work, and also assisting in making Kilkenny a more competitive city in the new knowledge economy. As part of this process, we looked at many options, and for example, in the case of the park and the street, there were continuous debates among our team and the team in the borough and county councils about where we should locate, for example, the street. We looked at a number of options which ran through the park alongside the river, but ultimately the feeling was that a central street which would give life to the quarter and give accessibility to a much quieter, leisure-based riverside park was the best solution. The other advantage of that central access street was that it gave a very good linkage to the east and west, to the lines of former slipways, and allowed us to create a series of east-west slipways, picking up on old slipways which had been cut off in the past as the brewery developed. The other interesting aspect to that was that we uncovered a series of old watercourses which were part of the industrial process on the site, and we hope to reopen those as part of the regeneration of the site. The other interesting aspect to the planning of the site is that we were very mindful of the traditional burgage plots of the city, and what appears now in our plan to be a series of random layouts of buildings, in fact, is a very rational recognition of the historic burgage plots, which give an interesting historical reference and also a non-orthogonal relationship between buildings, which we believe is very much in the character of Kilkenny. One of the interesting aspects of examining the lines of the former burgage plots and also of the watercourses is that it allows us in planning this new quarter to have respect for and repair the damage of the past number of centuries, and that in the new quarter that we create a linkage back to the historical pattern of the city that gives a unique layout to this new quarter of Kilkenny that is respectful of its past. Having carried out a number of studies on different options, the master plan ultimately consists of a series of very simple moves which will be implemented in stages over the coming years. The first move is to create a north-south link between John's Bridge and the central access route. This will be a new street which will go through the heart of the new quarter and will be the centre of life in that quarter. The second move is to create a series of east-west, predominantly pedestrian routes, although there will be service access outside of normal business hours. These follow the lines of the original slipways and burgage plots on the site, which will give the site a legibility which relates to its past. The third move in the master plan is to create a series of new public spaces in Kilkenny. The first one is the new public park along the riverside. The second is Berkeley Square at the heart of the University Quarter. The third is Ormond Crescent alongside the new public street. Then there's Abbey Square alongside the Abbey site. And finally, alongside the Brega River, we're opening up the old city walls and creating a green walkway that links with the Riverside Park. Berkeley Square will be a new space at the heart of the University Quarter, which will be vibrant. We envisage will have many ground floor restaurants and cafes, and will be a place for both the students and the citizens of Kilkenny to come, to meet, to congregate, to converse. Abbey Square will be a new modern space in the spirit of the European medieval spaces associated with abbeys and churches, and will be a contribution to Kilkenny's public realm. One of the more interesting spaces created by our new master plan is the green walkway along the old city wall and the Brega River. This has been hidden from public view for over 300 years, and I look forward to citizens of Kilkenny and visitors to the city appreciating the medieval character of the city and actually being able to touch and feel the limits of the city as it was in medieval times. We believe that as this quarter develops, it will not only in its own right enhance Kilkenny's competitiveness, but it will also enhance the competitiveness and the quality of life in the traditional city in both the High Street, Rose Inn Street, John Street, and will make Kilkenny a destination that is even more attractive than it is today.